Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So I know I said in the early shop tour, I think I did it in January this year, that I was going to do one at the end of the year. But I've changed my mind on that, and I've decided to do one kind of mid-year, a little over mid-year. Just because there's been so many changes that I don't want to try to get through all those changes at the end of the year. So I'm setting this video up to walk around exactly the same way that I did in the first video. And I'm actually going to drop footage from the original down below so you can physically see the changes, and rather than just rely on what I'm telling you, you can see the actual physical changes. So let me switch this camera around. We're going to start in the lathe corner, and man, has there been some upgrades there. Okay guys, so just like in the last video, we're going to start here in the lathe corner, and this is probably one of the more dramatic upgrade corners in the shop. Obviously we built the lathe station, and you guys have seen all of that build, and I've got the tool pull out and all that kind of in place now, so I'm super excited about that. I've added the Rikon slow speed grinder as well as the tables for it, and I still have the Tormek here, and most of that stuff, all the jigs and whatnot that live with that are fit into these drawers, and I'm still kind of figuring all of that out. I don't have all of my storage dialed in on this station yet. I also don't have my dust collection set up for the lathe yet, but you know, like I said in the last video, I do still have my drop. So let me switch the camera around and we'll show you kind of this back wall. Okay, so here's kind of that dust collection wall along with my scrap bin and lumber storage. There's no real upgrades or updates to this wall because it was so functional to start with. I still have plans for putting the dust collector in a closet, so that's still in play to get that built and put in. And we'll talk about my kids' bench down there in a few minutes. But yeah, there's just not really a lot of upgrades on this wall like there is so many other places in the shop. So let's move down to the other corner and take a look at that. Okay, moving down to the sheets goods storage. There's, to be honest, there's not a whole lot to talk about here either, other than, you know, kind of the elephant in the room and my kid's benches here that we just built for him. And he's actually moving home for the summer, so his bench is now living in my shop. And it's almost impossible to see, but really the only addition I've made to this corner is actually just above the garage door rail. You can see the little black handles up there. I have a Lee D4R, and I've created a shelf up there for that and mounted that up there. But that's really pretty much the only changes to this corner. Okay, so certainly you know that I've replaced the table saw. This is the new PM2000B. And I'll cover this a little bit more in depth in the end, because it's taken about 7 months to get this table saw right. And it is finally right and functioning the way it's supposed to. But like I said, we'll talk about that just a little bit more here at the end. But that is a significant upgrade. So of course the joiner and the planer are still the same as what they were. They're both great machines, although I have ordered an upgrade for the planer, and I'll cover that in a future video. But for now, this is the way the shop is, and the joiner and the planer are still the same. That's a 6-inch joiner with the long beds, and the DeWalt 735 planer, which just does a fantastic job. Okay, and then we have the miter station, which of course came in when the shop was brand new. It hasn't changed a whole lot. There might be a couple little things on the other end, and I'll move the camera around and show you those. But I'm still just absolutely loving the storage and everything that this miter station has to offer. Okay, so this end of the miter station really hasn't changed much either. I did add this small shelf and these wonderful little sanding blocks. but it's really nothing spectacular. But that's pretty much all that's changed on this end of the miter station. And of course the drill press corner, there's really nothing that's changed here either. This corner is working out super well. The mini split over the winter held up fantastically. I was thoroughly impressed. So at this time, there's no thoughts of dropping a pellet stove in this corner and rehoming all of this stuff to a different location. Thoroughly enjoying that vacuum drop there for cleaning up around the drill press area. Okay, and this wall, although it doesn't really look like it, has actually changed quite a bit. As you saw in the last video, I completely rebuilt the clamp racks and did a little bit of organization stuff up here. But the tooling, the 14-inch bandsaw and the router table and router bit storage and all of that is exactly the same as it was in the original video. But of course we've added the assembly table here, which has just been absolutely wonderful to have in the shop. It's got the air compressor in the back and a hose reel, and then the storage is just as awesome to have. There's a lot of fast cap foam in there, and all my screws and bits and things of that nature are all in there. So really enjoying this table. So okay, so moving on here to the hand tool wall and my Rubo bench, or my version of the Rubo bench. Obviously I covered the hand tool cabinet and stuff like that in a previous build, but this has been super handy to have as well. And yeah, it's been awesome to come down here and work and have an appropriate bench to work from. Got the big screen TV and the woodpecker stuff, and the drum sander cart, or the drum sander stand, has not changed, and I still love that. It's got lots of storage in it. It does everything I ask it to do, so that's been just awesome. Horizontal surfaces are not always great. So of course my Outfeed table hasn't changed much other than what I store in the drawers, because it's really no longer my primary work location now that I have the assembly table. I still haven't completely decided what lives in all those drawers yet. That's a work in progress, and I assess that as we go through projects, and I determine, kind of exactly what the workflow is going to be. Currently, this table is a little bit lower than my table saw. And now that I know that this table saw is going to live here, that's on my list to fill the grooves in the top of that table and cut new grooves to match up with the current table saw. So speaking of the current table saw, all the issues are, I think, finally resolved. They fixed the closure door, they've replaced the switch, they replaced the fence plates, and the last remaining item was this extension wing, this black extension wing over here. And it was warped. It had a bubble in the middle of close to 1/4 of an inch. So we thought maybe we got a bad one and we ordered another one. And the second one that came in was identical to the first one. So Powermatic sent a guy from up the road a ways to come out and assess and take care of my concerns. And he even said, man, that's crap. So we ordered another table, and you guessed it, the third one came in just as bad as the first two. So I don't know why this isn't on Powermatic's radar, but it's not. And as much as I hate to admit it, it'll probably void my warranty, but rather than ordering just another table, we flipped this over on my Outfeed table. We pulled the garbage material out from underneath it, clamped it flat, and milled new material to go in. And I'm now within probably a 64th of flat, which for this extension table, that's fine for my needs. But Powermatic really dropped the ball on the construction on this extension table. So it is what it is, and now I've got a good saw. I'm happy with where the saw's at. I'm not happy with the amount of time it took. Some of that's on me because I travel for work, but some of that's on Powermatic for continually sending crappy parts. That's really what it boils down to. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. I dropped the video down there so you could see what it was before and what it is now, and it's come a long ways in 6-7 months, and I'm super happy with it. I'm thrilled to have this shop. I couldn't be more happy. So that's gonna wrap it up, and until next time, guys, take care.